You know it's this. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowing like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion new single, my hater, the big better put on the road, I just spit. I know we got $1 million, the devil, that shit ain't not cheaper than again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the second part of, What If Naruto Enters Winx Club? Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of Pixel's Fanbook on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. Althea, Secret Tunnel Night. Naruto was sneaking back into Althea via his secret tunnels. He then feels a sharp pain in his back and started to breathe difficultly. He stops walking and leans against the stone wall as he brushes his chest onto the side where he was feeling the pain and felt a big lump was forming over where he felt one of his ribs were out of place. Now he assumes that one of his ribs were broken from when he was punched by the troll and cruises that troll for doing this to him. Great, looks like I have to place the bone back into the bone into place. This is going to sting. Naruto thought as he prepares himself for the sting from what he was about to do. He took 2 deep breaths right before he punches the area where the bone was and felt it snap back to place. However, he did in fact pain which did focus him to his knees for a little bit. After taking a few deep breaths and after regaining his composure, he stands up and resumes walking deeper into the tunnel. After some time passes, he arrives at a metal door that had strange writing on it which to a normal person, would look like to scribble but to a magical creature, the writing on the door was actually runes and seal engraves. Just got head back into my room and Granny will never know I'm late. Naruto says as he was about to open his door. Are you sure about that? Naruto stops walking as he hears a voice he was too familiar with. He slowly looks back and sees Faragonda was standing behind him with her arms across her chest and had a serious expression on her face as she stares at Naruto with a hard glare. Oh, hey Granny, what brings you here? Naruto says as he starts to sweat. Where were you, young man? Faragonda asks, strictly as her glare didn't fall once. Oh, I was just, at downtown Magix. Yeah, downtown Magix for some, fun. Naruto says as the sweat ran down his forehead, just hitting where his cut was, which caused him to hiss in pain. Faragonda hears Naruto's hiss and she really looked at him and saw the state he was in. She drops her glare as she was now startled at Naruto's condition. And did the place you went to for fun also include a bloody fight to the death? Naruto, you're injured. Faragonda says as she approaches Naruto and looks him over. I'm fine Granny really. Most of my injuries healed up on my way back. I'll be fine by morning. You know how fast I heal. Naruto says as his words are true, some of his bruises were fading fast while some of his cuts were closing on their own. But still, what happened to you? Faragonda asks. Nothing, I just got hit by a truck. That's all. Naruto says. Well, that punch did feel like I was hit by a truck. Naruto thought. Really? Faragonda asks as Naruto nods. Yes. Naruto says. But still, I'm worried about you. Faragonda says while looking over Naruto's body a bit more. Granny, you know you don't have to worry about me that much. I'm big and I can look out of myself. Naruto says. But still. I don't know if you got really hurt too badly and I wasn't there to prevent it. Faragonda says. Naruto felt bad for making her like this so he goes to her and hugs her. Granny, I'm not going anywhere. I'll always be here for you. Naruto says as Faragonda just cries a little and returns the hug. After a while, the two separate with Faragonda regaining her composure. It's okay, it wasn't your fault. So, promise me one thing. Faragonda says. Sure, what? Naruto asks. Next time, be more careful and look where you're going. I can't have you get hurt again. You're my grandson. Faragonda says as she pinches Naruto's cheeks, which causes him to laugh a bit from the feeling of his whisker marks getting tickled. You got it, Granny. Naruto says. Now, go and get some sleep. And we'll talk more. Faragonda says as Naruto nods. You got it. Naruto says, walking over to the metal door. Good night, Naruto. Love you, my dear grandson. Faragonda says as she starts to glow and disappear from the tunnel. Night, Granny. Naruto says as he enters into his hideout, ready for some good night's sleep. 3 hours later. In his room, Naruto was fast asleep and he was twisting and turning around his bed as he was having a dream, or was he really having one? Naruto's dream. Naruto was inside some sort of classroom as he looked around and saw. Alright everyone, I want you to write down who'd you want to spend the last day on Earth with. Naruto looked to the front and saw a young man who had long brown hair which was tied into a high short ponytail and he had tanned skin and had a long horizontal scar running across his nose. Write down who I'd want to spend my last day with. What am I doing here and, who are these kids? Who do I want to spend my last day with? Oh, I know. Granny and Auntie, of course. Naruto thought as he started to write down Faragonda's and names onto the paper. Once he had finished, he looks at the paper and smiles at his work. Naruto. Don't throw your paper out of the window. Naruto hears the man yell at him, which confused him. He didn't throw the paper out, he wrote on it. He looks down to the table and to his shock, he saw that the paper wasn't there anymore. But, I didn't throw it out. I wrote down people I want to spend my last day with like you said, mister. Naruto says but. Wow, the dead last must finally lost it. He's now making up some lie saying he has people to be with. Like he has anyone to spend the last day on Earth with. Since he has no family or friends too. One kid from the back says as he laughs, which causes most of the other kids in the classroom to laugh as well, but only a few did not. Ryuko. Don't tease your classmate like that. The man yells at the boy who said that. The boy called Ryuko just looks at the man. What, sensei? It's true. My dad told me that the little shrimp has no one, he's alone, and that's the truth. But I do. I have Granny, Auntie, my uncles, and other aunts. I do have people I'd like to spend time with. I have a family. Naruto yells as he stands up and looks at Ryuko, but the boy just scoffs. Lies. You have no family, freak. You're an orphan and alone, and you'll always be alone. But, I'm not alone. Naruto stutters with tears starting to build up in his eyes. Shut up, Naruto baka, you're interrupting the lesson for Sasuke-kun. A pink long-haired girl was sitting next to him, right next to a boy who had raven-colored hair as the kids resumes laughing at Naruto. The whole classroom started to get covered in darkness as the kids and man start turning into demons and were slowly creeping towards Naruto. The blonde himself frightened at the sight, he goes for his wrist to pull out his sword, but when he taps his wrist, no sword appeared. He looks down to see what's wrong and his eyes widen as he saw his mark was not there. He starts to back up until he hits a wall and was shaking as multiple distorted voices started scream. Loser. Orphan. Freak. Demon. Stop. Naruto quietly asks. Killa. Stop. Naruto says, shaking in fear. Monster. Nun Hokage. Please stop. Naruto. Says as tears were now falling down. Baka. Stop. Naruto says as one more voice was about to speak, but this one was the one that was the most frightening out of all of the others. Dope, a loud voice shouts as Naruto suddenly felt a sharp pain shoot right through his chest, where his right side was. Ack. Naruto yells in pain as he shoots up from his bed and falls to the floor. He was panting and sweating while holding his CHST, at the exact place where he felt the pain in his dream. He looks to his CHST and pulls his black t-shirt off, and with the moonlight, sees a round deep scar where his heart is, with the edges of the scar spread out like little lighting scars. He rubs the scar as if it was the cause of his nightmare, but that confused him. He doesn't even know how he got the scar. Who were those people and how did that man know my name? Naruto thought as he takes deep breaths, to calm himself down. This works, and Naruto looks at the time and saw that it was just past 2 a.m. No point in sleeping now. Might as well just do something. Naruto says as he looks around and sees a wooden sword laying against the wall by his bed. Guess training could work. Naruto says as he gets up and walks to the wooden word. He takes it and walks out of his room to go and start training. New Naruto's cave. In another area inside his hideout, Naruto was seen, wearing an old red tank top and black coveralls which he tied the sleeves around his waist, working on a vehicle that was orange in color, and it was a motorcycle, but this one has no wheels and it looks sort of futuristic. It was suspended in the air by itself as his head and top half of his body was inside the vehicle's hood, working on the engine while music was playing in the background. Naruto bobbing his head to the music as he had a socket wrench and was tightening one of the vehicle's spark plugs into the vehicle's cylinder head. He was so into his work, that he didn't notice Faragonda appear behind him and was walking to him. Still working on your little project here, I see. Faragonda says, which made Naruto jump and hit his head on the hood. Ah, that's smart. Naruto moans from the pain as he rubs the bump that formed from the hit. Faragonda felt sorry for that, but she could help but giggle. I'm sorry for scaring you a bit, dear. I thought you heard me enter. Faragonda says as Naruto just rubs his head and waves her off. It's fine, Granny. You just surprised me, that's all. So, the new students have arrived? Naruto says as he grabs the socket wrench and goes back to screwing in the plug. Yes, they have. The next generation of fairies have arrived and are settling in their dorms right now. Faragonda says as she hears Naruto laughs, like Technoblade's laugh. That's good, more victims for me and my pranks. Naruto says as he laughs. Faragonda just rolls her eyes and smiles softly. Not many how many times they ask him, Naruto will never give up pranking, and that's what makes him, well, him. Faragonda then looks around and sees the oil and various parts and tools just laying around the floor. I know that this is your space to work on your projects, but would not hurt you to clean up every once in a while. And I'll never get how can you listen to this. I can't even understand a single word from the singer as he's just repeating the same words over and over again. Faragonda says as the music was still banging. Naruto just chuckles at this and goes to the stereo and turns down the music. It's not about just listening to the song, it's about letting it flow into your heart and being a part of you, Granny. I listen to it because it calms me down, plus. It's too good to jam to while working. Naruto says as he paces the socket wrench back into his toolbox and walks back to the bike. I see you're still working on your little project here. Faragonda says, seeing the hoverbike in its glory. Just getting it ready for my trip to the city. I can't have it blow up the last time. Naruto says as he closes the hood and wipes his hands for the oil with a cloth. Faragonda looks at Naruto and notices he had small dark bags under his eyes. Naruto. Faragonda says, catches Naruto's attention as he finishes his wiping. Yeah. Naruto says. Did you sleep well last night? Faragonda asks, which makes Naruto raise his eyebrow. Yeah, why are you asking? Naruto asks. Because you have bags under your eyes and your eyes are a bit red and dilated. Yeah. I did sleep. Naruto says. Did you really? Faragonda asks as she crosses her arms and stares at Naruto. Yeah, I did. Just had a bad dream, that's all. Naruto says, as he goes to the bike and looks over it a bit more. Naruto, what did you dream? Farah. I don't want to talk about it. Naruto says as he starts to walk away. Naruto. Faragonda calls to him as she walks to him, but she stops as Naruto stops and turns to her, and Faragonda sees his pupils were slitted, which shocked her. I said I don't want to. If I don't want to talk about it, I won't talk about it. Naruto says, seeing that Faragonda wasn't speaking, he takes deep breaths to calm down. I'm going out. Naruto says as he leaves the room. Faragonda just stood there as she was surprised that Naruto actually talked back to her. This was the first time he had ever done that to her. What is happening to you, Naruto? Faragonda asks herself as she leaves the hangar, back to her office. With Naruto. Naruto was seen, walking through the wall tunnels, still a bit mad at how Faragonda was fussing over him as he was putting on an orange letterman's jacket with the sleeves being black and had a symbol on the back of the jacket. He had changed out of his previous outfit and had on a black t-shirt, black pants, an orange and black sneaker, and had a headband on and a pair of red biker goggles around his neck. Damn it all. I'm not that scared kid anymore. I can take care of myself. Can't she see that? Naruto thought, grumpy over how Faragonda gets when he's hurt or acting differently. Sure, he understood that she was looking out of him, but it was getting annoying really quickly. He needed to calm down, he needed to do something. I need to get out of here. Naruto thought as he walks back to the hangar where he was before. He silently hoped that Faragonda wasn't there still. Naruto walks back to his hangar where the hoverbike was parked and sees that Faragonda had left, much to his relief. He hops onto it and inserts his key into the ignition and turns the bike on as he feels the tech inside it switch on. He then pulls the key of the ignition and then unlocks his forks. After that, he grabs his clutch and turns on the start button, but the bike stalls for a bit, which makes Naruto frown. Come on, baby. Don't do it. Naruto whispers as he pushes the ignition switch one more time and the bike roars to life. Naruto smiles and revs it to make the engine work and warm up. There you are. Scared me there a bit, girl. But it looks like that new Bernoulli converginator did work. I'm surprised it didn't explode since I got it from Hank, unlike most of your other parts as they come from scrap and spares at the garage, but looks like hard work and pa pays off. Naruto says as he continues to rev the engine. He grabs his goggles and slips them on as he revs the bike. It started to float off the ground while Naruto felt the body and frame shake. He knew it wanted to go. Let's ride. Naruto yells as he rockets out of the hangar and through the tunnel. Not too far away from Alfea in the surrounding forest, there was a cave just a few minutes from the gate. And inside the cave, the sound of an approaching vehicle was inside the cave. The sound kept coming closer and closer until Naruto shot out of the cave and rode through the forest, bobbing and weaving past the trees until he reached the main road and started to drive down it, heading straight to Magic City. It was a large modern city where magic and technology are combined and work together to make the city function, and was close to Alfea and is the main city on Magix. If you wanted something or wanted to do something, Magic City is your place to be in. Naruto saw the city approaching and sped up, passing a bus that was in front of him. He drives down a street that was leading him through one of the many shopping districts in the city. He passes many stores until he reaches a store that had several parts of motor vehicles on display. It was a motor repair shop. Naruto parks his bike at the front of the store and enters it. Hey, old man. I'm back and I'm here to take your money. Naruto yells as a middle-aged man who was robust in size yet fit of his age. He was human and was bald, but he had brown hair at the back of his head and had a large beard. He had on a green t-shirt and a brown welding apron and brown heat-resistant gloves and brown pants. His name was Hank Warlock, the owner of Warlock Motor Repair / Blacksmith, and he was Naruto's boss. Hank looks up from the magazine he was reading and sees Naruto enter the shop. Well, if it isn't my worst / favorite and only employee, Naruto. How you doing, kid? You're 3 hours late, kid. Hank says as he closes the magazine while Naruto just had a sheepish smile on his face. Ah, you, same old stuff. Plus, I was busy fitting in that new part you got, Akira sounding beefy now. She even rumbled when I started her. Naruto says as he walks to the back room with Hank following him. That's because that part is giving her something extra in the combustion. Hank says, leaning on the door as Naruto was walking to 2 lockers. So, got any new parts yet? Naruto asks as Hanks just chuckles and shakes his head. Kid, you'd be the first I'd tell if we had new parts in yet, well you and those guys from Red Fountain. Hank says as Naruto pulls off his goggles. Yeah, I know. Naruto says as he then takes off his jacket. Speaking of Red Fountain, these guys were here earlier looking of you. Hank says as he gains Naruto's attention. Really? Naruto asks while taking off his t-shirt. Yep, I said you aren't in yet and they brought a couple of things. Hank says. What they'd buy? Naruto asks as he opens the locker and places his jacket, shirt and goggles and puts them into it while taking out a red t-shirt and welding apron and a pair of gloves of his own. You know, new crank shifts, new pistons, spark plug, a few transponders and NOS. Hank says as Naruto, who is putting on his t-shirt, stops when he hears the last item these guys brought. NOS. He actually brought NOS. NOS, as in nitrous? Naruto asks with Hank nodding. Yeah. Hank says. Which one did he buy? Naruto asks as points to a display at the front of the store where blue tanks bottles of various sizes were located. The small ones, 2 of them. Hank says as Naruto just sighs and runs his hand through his hair. That crazy son of a, you've seen how he rides, right? Naruto asks. I have. The kid's got a happy trigger on the throttle. That's the main reason even why you beat him in the first place during the course of FUNN just earlier this year. Hank says with Naruto letting out a loud and tired sigh, he now understood why one of those guys brought NOS. Oh great, and if I know how Purple Hair thinks. He'll come back and challenge me to a race some way one of these days. Naruto says as he resumes putting out his uniform. Kid, you don't have to race him. Just walk away and be the bigger man in this. Hank says but Naruto just shakes his head. I wish I could but if I did, I doubt he'd just let me walk away. He'll continue to bug me until I give him what he wants, a rematch. Naruto says while letting out another sigh. He looks at the NOS tanks and got an idea. You know what, I think I need NOS too. Naruto says which causes Hank to get shocked while he walks to the NOS display with following him. What? Kid, I know your bike, it's different from all the other bikes in Magix. Hell, it's the most advanced bike in Magix and it even beat the latest Wind Rider and those are the bikes those specialists use. It doesn't need NOS, it never needs NOS since it has the converginator I gave you for free as a gift for working here for me does the job that NOS would do better than it ever would. Hank says. I know since we built Akira up from scratch. But, it'd be better safe than sorry, right? Naruto says. Hank gets frustrated and grabs Naruto by his shoulders and looks at his face. If you use both of them at the same time, the combined power from both the NOS and converginator will blow up the engine and kill it for good. There would be no way it'll even be repaired. Hank says as he looks at Naruto, dead in his eyes. Naruto just doesn't say a thing as Hank looks at him, he knew what the kid was thinking about and he lets out a sigh. He looks back at Naruto. Look, kid. Why don't you think about this a bit more before you make a decision and we'll come back to this topic. Okay. Hank asks as Naruto looks at him a bit more than to the NOS and through the store window to his bike and back to Hank and he nods. Okay. I'll think on it. Naruto says as Hank nods. He then lets go of Naruto. Good, 'cause we got some work to do. Hank says as he walks to the back, Naruto follows him. What's the job? Naruto asks as the two walk until they reach the room was cut into 2 sections, they see one section had various vehicles around, hoverbikes, buses, cars, hawks, and even an old owl and something that was dismantled at the back. And on the other section was a forge with various metals, tools, heater, hammers, and 2 anvils. Hank leads Naruto to the vehicle section and shows him a muscle car-like magic car that was above the ground on a rotary lift. Some idiot thought it would be a great idea to put an adios whatif into the tank for his as a stunt to impress some girl. It worked, for about 30 seconds until he caused a misfire and made the whole engine stop running altogether. Hank says, Naruto looks at the car and sees a hole was blown through the under where the engine was, which causes him to whistle at the size of the hole. Had to be some girl to make the guy do that. Naruto says. Yeah, and now it's us who have to suffer in dismantling the engine and replace all the parts that got covered in the DMN drink and clean the ones that can be salvaged. Hank says as he grabs 2 large gas tanks and wheeled them to the car. But it pays well. Naruto says as he puts on a welding mask as Hank did the same. DMN, right, it does, kid. If it didn't, I won't be here where I am. Now, stop yapping and let's get to it. Hank says as he holds a blowtorch and lights it up as the two begin doing work. A few hours later evening. Several hours had passed and it was closing time for Warlock Motor Repair / Blacksmith. Naruto was seen walking out of the back room, back in his outfit from before, but he had his jacket in one hand while had an energy drink in the other. Hank was walking out of the repair room, covered in sweat and oil as he lets out a sigh. Well, that should do it for now. I'll do some more things tomorrow. But we'll continue repairing and cleaning the engine when you clock back in. Hank says. Cool. Well, time for me to clock out. Naruto says as he takes a big hit from his energy drink. Okay, see you on the weekend and be sure to be on time next time and stop drinking that CRP. It'll kill you faster than fighting. Hank yells as Naruto just laughs and throws the empty can to a trash bin and it lands in it. No promises. See ya on Friday night, boss. Naruto yells as he runs out of the store. Hank just shakes his fist at Naruto right before he just chuckles. That kid. I'd fire him if he wasn't the best damned employee I got. Hank says as he walks to the back room, ready to clean up and close up shop and turn in for the night. Outside the store, Naruto was tying his jacket to his waist as he was about to hop on Akira. I wonder what am I going to do tonight, probably do something fun, but I can't really since I know classes start in the morning. Plus, I really can't skip curfew since what happened yesterday. Granny and Auntie will probably be on lookout for me and any other students who are out now. Guess I should head back and turn in for the night. Naruto says as he hops onto Akira and starts it up, his thoughts start going back to the dream he had which was really bothering him. Those faces, those people, those voices, who were they really? And why was he dreaming? Are they from my past? Did I know them? And why am I afraid of them? Naruto thought on the possibilities as to why he dreamt the dream and why was he acting like this. His thoughts were interrupted when he felt a sudden spike in magical energy close to him. What was that? A spike in magical energy from fairies and from what I'm feeling, witches. Guess some witches from Cloud Academy is messing with some new students. I could go there and intervene but, I really can't. What if those fairies can beat them and I'd be wasting time? Naruto says as he was about to ride back to Alfea when he felt 2 signatures he recognized. Wait, Stella and Bloom. What are they doing here? Did Stella convince Bloom to come to Alfea? And why's Bloom's energy fading fast? Naruto thought as he now knew exactly what to do. Guess I have something to do, save Bloom, Stella and the others from those witches. Naruto says as he revs Akira and jets off to the location where he was feeling the signatures. He drove past a few stores as he approaches an alleyway. He was about to drive off when he sees 9 figures in the alleyway with 4 of the 9 on the ground and 1, encased in solid ice. He sees 3 girls standing in front of the fallen girls and sees the last one was the same ogre from yesterday, which made his eyes go wide. He looks closer to the person inside the ice and his eyes go wide even further as he sees Bloom was in there. Then did it as he turns into the alley and races towards the group. Just as one of the standing girl was about to do one last attack. Hey ugly! The ogre and trio turned to the sound of yelling and see an orange hoverbike was sliding towards them. The bike collies with them, sending the girls into the walls while the troll got sent into the air and fall but down. The bike continues to slide across the ground, causing dirt and sparks to fly as it finally comes to a stop as Naruto uses his foot to make the bike stop as blue lighting coursed across the ground and some off the bike. Naruto hops off the bike and stood in front of the girls and stands defensively. Hello there. Naruto says, to the trio and ogre in front of him. Stella, her fairy form, shakes her head to clear away the cobwebs and sees Naruto standing in front of them. Naruto? Stella says as Naruto looks behind and smiles at her. Hey there Stella. Didn't think we'd meet again in situations. Naruto says as he turns back to the trio who were getting up while the ogre was trying to get up but it couldn't due to it being tied up in green ropes. Now, just who are you ladies and why is my friend inside this ice? Naruto asks while cracking his knuckles. The trio look at Naruto and see what he was wearing and laugh. Oh look sisters. We got ourselves a tough guy trying to play hero. The first one says as she continues to laugh. She was a young woman with a light skin tone, long brown hair that reached down her knees with dirty blonde-colored bangs that flowed down to her thighs on either side. She had dark gold cat-like eyes and a small hooked nose. She also had on wearing lilac-colored eye shadow with bits of it on her cheeks around the bottom corners of her eyes and had purple lipstick on. Her outfit was a sleeveless dark purple bodysuit with capri-style pants. She also had on light purple gloves, dark purple ankle boots with pointed toes and small openings at each side, and a lilac-colored choker covered in dark purple jewels. Under the choker laid a strap that flowed down the middle of the bodysuit, where it formed a D at her midsection before forming into her belt. What's he going to do, throw his bike at us? The second one says as she too was still laughing. She was a woman with a tanned complexion, teal eyes, and frizzy dark purple hair that is shaped like a cloud with paler bangs that flow down to and rest on her shoulders in the shape of lightning bolts. A small hair could also be seen peeking out from the very top of her head. She also had makeup on but hers was dark pink eyeshadow which adorned most of her cheeks under her eyes and dark pink lipstick. Her attire consisted of a sleeveless dark fuchsia dress with a flared collar, matching elbow-length gloves that stopped at the palm, fuchsia tights or leggings and short, purple lavender panties that appears just over the tights, dark fuchsia heeled boots with pointed toes. She also wore a pale pink choker covered in fuchsia-colored gems with a strap just under it that flowed down the center of her dress where it formed the letter S at her midsection before forming into a thin, curved belt. To match her outfit, Stormy gains dark fuchsia eyeshadow and lighter-colored facial makeup that. The last one wipes her eye from a tear that was about to fall as she clams herself down and looks at Naruto. Hey kid, why don't you just walk away from this and we won't freeze you to death? The last on and clearly the leader of the trio says. She was a pale-skinned woman with icy blue eyes and long, silvery blue hair that was pulled back into a high ponytail by a dark teal tube-like hairband with 2 long curled hairs flowing past her ears and stopping at her chst in the front. Again, all the other 2, she had makeup on but hers was light blue eyeshadow and pale purple lipstick that made her lips look frostbitten and long blue fingernails. Her form was a dull navy blue one-piece suit and a royal blue cape, with boots a darker shade of blue. Down the front of the suit was a white stripe that formed a thin belt with the letter I over the stomach. With this, she was wearing fingerless gloves and dark blue eyeshadow. Naruto just narrows his eyes at the trio. Sorry, but I can't do that. See, I have a rule on not hitting ladies but if you hurt my friends. That rule can fly out of the window since you've got me to deal with. Especially I'd ruin your makeup since y'all are using way too much eyeshadow. Naruto says as he holds his hand out and his mark glows with his katana materializing in his hand and he grabs it and shifts into his stance. The trio sees this and glare at him. The pale-skinned girl then steps forwards. "So, if you wanna fight." The pale-skinned girl says as her hands start to go off blue magic partials as the air in the alley started to get colder. "Well, you got it." The pale-skinned girl as she shot her hands forward and ice spikes started to shoot from them and headed towards Naruto. The blonde sees the ice attack approaching and he sudden shoot towards them at high speeds that caught the trio and the other girls expect Stella and Bloom since Stella has seen Naruto in action but not at this speed. Naruto is now in front of the ice spikes and starts to slash at them, cutting and breaking all of them into pieces which does shock the pale-skinned one. Seeing this, Naruto then rushes at her and throws a big kick to his midsection which pulls the girl out of her shocked state as she felt the wind get knocked out of her as she is sent flying far from her group. The tanned one saw her friend fly from her and sees Naruto was in front of her. Enraged, she sends a bolt of purple lighting to Naruto. He sees the lighting approach and he jumps into the air, effortlessly avoiding the attack, and lands behind the tan-skinned one. She sees that Naruto had dodged her attack and was behind her. She turns to face him but she instead gets a roundhouse kick to the side of her head which sent her into the wall. Naruto then turns to face the last one but he gets hit by a sound wave attack which sends him flying back to where Stella and the others were. He corrects himself and slides to a stop just in front of the girls again. He looks up and sees that the light-skinned tone one was the one who hit him with the sound wave and saw the pale-skinned girl and the tan-skinned one were getting up and were walking to their friend to fight back. Seeing the numbers were against him at the moment, Naruto started to think of a way to escape with everyone. Naruto looks around the alleyway and sees an old pipe running into a wall, next to the trio and sees a discarded ice spike next to him. Then he got an idea. He grabs the ice spike and stands back up. The trio was charging up an attack as Naruto slips the ice into his right hand and starts twirling it. Just as the trio was about to launch their attacks, Naruto throws the ice spike into the pile, causing the pipe to burst and letting out steam, covering the whole alley. "See ya." Naruto's voice was heard. A bright light went off in the area he, Stella, Bloom, and the other girls were in as the trio fire their attack there, resulting in a large explosion that could be seen if you were outside the city. As the steam cleared away, the trio was shocked as they saw Naruto and the girls had disappeared, and to make matters worse for them, Bloom's ice prison was broken, showing that she had escaped with the others. The pale-skinned one cursed out at the failed plan, thanks to Naruto's intervention. Somewhere else in the city, Stella was seen, crouching near Bloom who was shivering due to her losing her heat from the ice prison. "Oh you poor thing, relax. You're safe now Bloom. You know, for an earthling, you did ever well lasting in that ice. You were very brave." Stella says to Bloom as she uses her powers to heat Bloom up. However, what she said caught the attention of a few others with them. Stella flinches as she slowly turns around and sees the three other girls who were with her all looking at her with furious gazes. "Why did you call her Bloom and she's from Earth?" One of the three asked Stella as she had her hands on her hips. She was a young tan-skinned girl with long light brown hair that had her bangs framing on either side of her face where it has visible blonde streaks with a single small hair strand sticking up and narrow green jade eyes. She was in her fairly form which her outfit consisted of primarily a fuchsia and orchid sparkling one-piece, bare-shouldered corset dress that conceals a pair of mini shorts of the same color, and ankle-high high-heeled boots also the same color. A green choker with a pink-colored four-petal flower adorns her neck, and she had light pink wrist-length fingerless gloves extending from above the elbow to the wrist with a single point down the back of each palm covering her arms. Her translucent undetailed wings were lime green and shaped like leaves. She also had on a pair of gold hoop earrings. "Well, you see." Stella was trying to say something and try to clear the air on this but someone stepped in for her. "Because she is from Earth. I should know since I met her just yesterday." The group turned to their right and see Naruto who was looking over his bike. He then stands up and walks over to them. Stella, what have you been telling them about Bloom? Naruto asks as he crosses his arms. Well, it's kind of a funny story. I've kind of been fibbing a little on Bloom's background. And the reason why? Naruto asks with a raised eyebrow. See, I knew that Griselda was going to do the check-in, and if she found out Bloom's from Earth and not registered into Althea, she'd kick her out, so I told her that she's Princess Veranda of Callisto. Stella says. I see. Naruto says, understanding that Griselda was strict on the rules, so much that if you pronounced your name wrong when you first come to Althea, she'll kick you out as she thinks that you're not on the registration list. But Stella, why did you tell her that? What is the real Veranda came and Bloom was still here? What do you think would have happened? One of the three girls asks as she had one of her hands on her left hip. She's a young woman with a light skin tone, teal blue eyes, and magenta-colored hair. Her outfit in her fairy form was something Naruto had never seen before, since most fairies he'd seen growing up usually wore a two-piece outfit, but this girl's outfit, it covered most of her body. The outfit was a full-body suit of a sparkling lavender color covering the torso and legs. She had powder blue knee-high high-heeled boots and sleeves which cover her hands. She also wore a lavender helmet which has a lime-green tear-shaped brooch on it with a similar one on her chest with a bit of her magenta-colored hair sticking out of it. Her wings were green bars that formed small squares on her back. And why are you telling him that, Stella? He's not even in our school. And who are you? One of the three asks. This girl had a light, almost pale skin tone, dark blue hair with it being kept in short high pigtails, and thin dark blue eyes. Her fairy form outfit consisted of a sparkling red left-sided one-strap top with translucent pink fabric at the middle, a red mini-skirt, and red knee-high wedge boots. She also had purple headphones atop her head and purple ribbons around her forearms, but the one on her left arm had loose ends hanging from it and was toner than the one on her right. Her wings were translucent and bright blue with purple bands in the middle. She also had magenta shorts under her skirt. Naruto was about to answer the girl, but Stella beat him to the punch. Oh, his name is Naruto, we met yesterday. He helped me and Bloom out when I got attacked by a bunch of ghouls and that ogre we fought back there. And really beat the CRP out of a troll who showed up at Bloom's parents' home, which I remember punched you through a wall. Naruto, are you okay? You were bleeding back then. Stella says as Naruto just waves her off from her concern. I'm fine, Stella. I heal quite fast. Naruto says. Well, thank you for helping us back there. I'm Flora. Nice to meet you. The tan-skinned girl introduces herself as she powers down out of her fairy form and into her civilian form. Flora was wearing a bright yellowish-green off-the-shoulder smock top with puffy short sleeves that bare her midriff and belly, a pink wrap mini-skirt with little slits on both sides, and with strawberry patterns of a darker shade with a thin yellow belt that hangs midway down the skirt, 2 sets of yellow bangle bracelets on each arm, and pink platform sandals with fuchsia-colored flowers by her ankles. She kept her large gold hoop earrings. I'm Tekna. The magenta-colored hair says as she powers down to her civilian wear. In her civilian outfit was a vest-like CRP top that is half lilac, half lime green, with the two halves was separated by a white line that ran across the middle horizontally, with a lime green collar, lilac flared fitted cropped pants with lime green stripes that ran vertically down the sides, lilac and lime green striped socks, and lilac-colored platform heels. The heels themselves being almost clear in color and reminiscent of security cushions or airbags. She also had on small silver pearl earrings. And Naruto could see that her hair was styled in an asymmetrical bob cut on the right side with a single small hair strand sticking up. I'm Musa, and it was cool for you to help us out. The tomboy greets as she powers down out of her fairy form and into her civilian form. Musa kept her hair tied up in short high pigtails, but her outfit now consisted of a small red tank top that exposes her midriff and had a single strap that runs over her right shoulder, the armlet on her right bicep from her fairy form had remained and had baggy blue jeans that she had sagging low enough to show the part of her pink underwear and big red sneakers with white soles. "I'm Naruto, but you got that from Stella. Nice to meet you all, plus it was no biggie, it was the right thing to do, plus anyone would have done the same." Naruto says. "Wait, how did you even find us?" "We were in an alleyway, away from the street." "Oh, I sensed you. I can sense any magical energy signature close by given if it's big enough of me to sense that and if a spike in power is let out." Naruto says. He notices Bloom was holding herself and was shivering like crazy. He goes to her. "You alright, Bloom?" Naruto asks. Why yeah, just a bit cold still." Bloom says with her lips shaking from the cold. She then feels something wrap around her and sees Letterman's jacket was on her. She turns to Naruto who had a bright smile. "Have my jacket, it'll keep you warm." Naruto says as he never notices Bloom had a small blush. "TT thanks." Bloom says as she avoids Naruto's eyes. The blonde turns around and sees the clock tower near them and sees the time. "No problem. Now, let's just you ladies back to Althea. Since it is getting pretty late." Naruto says with the girls gaining wide eyes as they turn to the tower and see that it was just past 10 p.m., 2 hours past their curfew. "You're right. We're past our curfew. We need to hurry back." Stella yells as she and the others start to wave for a bus back to Althea. Naruto hops on Akira and starts her up, but she wasn't starting probably, the bike was just giving off a humming sound with some spark sounds as well. Naruto tries restarting her again and even revved the engine but got the same humming noise. He then realizes what was happening to his bike. "Ah great," Naruto says as he hits his head onto as the girls turn to him. "What's wrong?" Musa asks. "I think I busted the main conductor and some parts in the engine when I slid into these girls and Ogre when I arrived, thanks to that stunt. I can't start my bike up." Naruto says as he lets out a sigh. He knew that Hank was going to kill him when he has to explain this to him. "Mind if I have a look at it?" Naruto lifts his head and sees Tekna was standing next to him. "Sure, go ahead." Naruto says as he pops the hood open and the two take at the engine. "Yeah, you did dislodge the main conductor to the anti-grav tech in here, but that's an easy fix right now. The main issue I see here however is that your fuel line is cut open and your cylinder head is badly cracked." Tekna says as Naruto hit his head against the hood. "Oh, CRP, that's going to take 3 nights to fix and mend." Naruto says, frustrated on this info. "You know, you could let me help you fix her up if you since it's just one wiring and technical problem. The best I can do is fix right now is patch the wire to the main conductor and just activate the anti-gravity and you can tow it." Tekna says. "Really, you do that for me?" Naruto asks. "Yeah, plus, this is one hot ride. Where did you buy her from?" Tekna asks as her question caused Naruto to laugh a bit and rub the back of his head. "Thanks, but I didn't buy her. My boss and I built her up from the ground up. She's my pride and joy." Naruto says. "Really?" Tekna asks, with Naruto nodding. This surprised her since most guys she knew back home did build things from the ground up back at her home realm, but that was an everyday thing back home. It was a rare thing for a guy outside her realm to build something this advanced, and that impressed her. The two start working on patching up the wire and fuel line for now, and after 12 minutes, they were done. "There, that should do it. Start it up." Tekna, whose face was covered with a bit of oil, says as she closes the hood. Naruto, who had oil on his face as well, nods and starts the bike up. The engine didn't start, but the bike did in fact start to hover off the ground. "Ha, she's up. But not running, it'll do for now." Naruto says as he hops off the bike and pulls out a cloth from his pocket and offers it to Tekna. "Thanks for your help, it would have taken longer if I did it myself, and if I did that, the oil would have spilled over the engine, making my job harder. Naruto says as Tecna smiles and takes the cloths. It was no problem, I love tech and tinkering with machines. So the pressure was mine. Tecna says as she wipes the oil off her face and hands and hands the cloth back to Naruto as he uses it to wipe the oil off his face and hands. The two hear footsteps and turn to see Musa was running to them. Guys, we got a bus who agreed they let Naruto tow his bike to Alfea. Musa says as Naruto smile at the news. Does he have any rope? Naruto asks as Musa nods. The trio go to the bus with Naruto pushing his bike back to the bus where the others were waiting. 15 minutes later Alfea. The group were back at Alfea as they stood at the closed gate. During the trip to the school, the girls were in the bus while Naruto rode on Akira at the back getting towed to steer the bike as they traveled. Thanks for helping us back. It was no problem. Hope to see you, girls, again really soon. Naruto says as he turns around and was walking the other way to his other secret entrance. As he walks, he hears Bloom call out to him. Wait, Naruto. How will you get back home if your bike is broken? Stella asks as Naruto started to sweat and causing him to stop momentarily. Well. Naruto was trying to think up a lie for Bloom, when a spotlight shined onto them. Freeze. Do you girls have any idea what time it is? The girls and Naruto turn around and see Faragonda and Griselda were walking towards them. Young ladies, we were worried sick. Go to bed this instant and we'll discuss your punishment Faragonda was saying but she stops as she notices just who was at the back of the girls and Griselda notices too. Hi, Granny and Auntie. Naruto says as the girls look at him and Faragonda and Griselda approach him. Naruto. What are you doing out here at this time? And why are you with the girls? Faragonda asks as Naruto sighs. It's a long story, and two of them who I am. Naruto says. Wait, you guys know each other? Musa asks as Naruto looks at her and nods. Yes, we know each other. Stella, remember when you asked me if I was from Red Fountain? Naruto asks as Stella nods, well I sort of lied, I'm not from Red Fountain, I'm from here. I'm Alfea's secret student, well, that was a secret till now. Naruto says, shocking the girls with the info. Wait, but Alfea is a university of female fairies and you're a male and I don't think that there aren't any male fairies in the magic realm. No offense. Stella says. None taken and no, I'm not a fairy. I'm 100% human. Naruto says, shocking Flora, Musa, Tecna, Stella, and Bloom as he somehow passed the barrier surrounding Alfea which was considered impossible since none magical being was meant not to be able to pass through it. But how are you here if you're not magical? Flora asks as Naruto just shrugs his shoulders. Again, long story. Naruto says. Faragonda coughs, gaining everyone's attention. Girls, I think we should head to my office to discuss this a bit more. It's time we talked about this. All of you are about to secrets that were never to be revealed tonight. Faragonda says as she stares at the girls with a serious expression. Can I meet you up there? I just have to drop my bike back to my hangar. Naruto says as Faragonda nods. She and Griselda lead the girls to her office while Naruto went to the outside wall of the campus and went to a bush that covered most of the wall. He pushes a bit of the bush to the side and a ruin appears as the wall opens up and Naruto walks into it, pushing Erika with him as the wall closes behind him. He was thinking a lot of things but only one thought stood out the most. Things just got more complicated. Naruto thought, not knowing his thought and previous gut feeling were right, but, this was only the beginning. Alfea Faragonda's office. Faragonda, Griselda, and the girls were inside her office as the girls were standing in front of the headmistress while the fairy herself was sitting by her desk with her assistant standing next to her. Bloom, who was still wearing Naruto's jacket, looked around the room for the whiskered face blonde but saw he wasn't there with them. Miss Faragonda. Where's Naruto? Shouldn't he be here? Bloom asks. He'll join us shortly. We just have to wait for him to arrive as he had to drop his bike down to his room. Faragonda says, it didn't take all as the bookshelf in the room suddenly moves, opening a pathway into the wall and Naruto steps out of the pathway and into the room. I'm here now. Sorry for the wait. Naruto says as he walks over to the girls and stands next to them. Faragonda then clears her throat, gaining everyone's attention. Now, I'm sure you girls have questions that relate to Naruto on why he is here and how can he enter Althea when he's only just human. Faragonda says with the girls. I will answer for you. Faragonda says as she stands up from her seat and starts to walk around the room. Nearly 3 years ago, I was standing on my balcony, gazing towards the evening stars that evening where I felt a massive surge of power spike throughout the area. At first, I thought it was a fairy or someone, but I quickly realized that no one has the large quality of energy in them without an enchanted of some kind. I then see someone fall from the sky and plummet toward the ground, and it was Naruto. He collided with the ground, hard. I went down to investigate and discovered Naruto, but to my absolute horror, I found him, bloody and with a few bones as his right arm was bent in the opposite way and I saw he had 2 holes in his chest. Faragonda says as the girls' eyes widen at the mention of Naruto's past injuries. They turned to him and saw that he looked calm. You had holes in your chest. Stella yells. And you fell out of the sky. What happened to you to case that? Bloom shouts. Girls, please. Don't shout. Griselda says but Naruto waves her off. It's okay auntie. I was expecting this to happen. Yeah, I did, Granny told me when she saved me. Although, I can't remember how I got them. Naruto says, causing the girls to look at him with a bewailed expression. What do you mean that you don't remember how you got them? Musa asks as Naruto just shrugs his shoulders. What I meant was, I can't remember how I got them nor anything up until 3 years ago when I first came here. Naruto says, Tekna notices his behavior and confusion and saw that it was signs linked to having amnesia. Wait, do you have amnesia? Tekna asks as the girls turn to her right before turning Naruto and see him nod. Yep, I can't remember a single thing about me from my past. The only things I do remember are my first name and last name. That's it. Other than that, is all blink. Naruto says, the girls felt bad for him. That he wasn't in his home dimension nor that he had his old memories. Faragonda clears her throat again, making the girls turn back to her. Now as I was staying, I quickly took Naruto to the medical bay and try in saving his life. We got there in time and he was making a miraculous and quick recovery which shouldn't have been possible due to how his injuries were as we saw the holes and injuries he acquired from the fall were starting to heal rapidly. But, due to the extent of how he fell and how high he was in the air. When he crashed into the earth, his brain took a lot of damage from it and while it did heal, his memories were not as fortunate. He lost nearly all his memories from his 13 years of life but only retained the memories as he just stated. His name and how to speak. Faragonda says as the girls felt bad and winced at the pain he must have been in when he fell and how he lost all his most important memories. After we realized that Naruto had lost all memories of who he is and where he came from and what happened, I and the staff took it upon ourselves to ensure Naruto's existence in Magix is never known to anyone else other than us. We retaught him on how to read and to write and how to defend himself against those who would capture him and use him in their evil plans. Faragonda says as Tekna got curious about the info. Wait, why would people want to capture Naruto? He's just human, no offense. Tekna says as Naruto just waves at her. None taken. Naruto says. Because he is no ordinary human. He has 2 large energy pools in him. One is his own and it is large, maybe even larger than any of yours and myself own magic pools combined. Faragonda says as the girls' eyes widen, they turn to Naruto and look at him. He had more power in him than they did. Maybe that would also explain how he can enter the barrier with no issue. You said he has two, what about the second one? Flora asks. The second one is, larger than Naruto's. It was large enough that it could have the most energy in the whole magic dimension. Faragonda says. The girls were shocked at the bombshell. They looked at Naruto and thought that he could be one of the most powerful beings in the whole universe if he could use. Whoa! Musa utters out from her state of shock. But, how come he doesn't use these pools of energy? We have only seen him use a sword in battle. Flora says. Because of the fall. He lost the memories of how to access these pools, leaving him vulnerable to the world. So we taught him the use of the sword the best we could, since most of us just use our abilities in combat. He picked it up quite easily than we thought he would, and even created his own unique style. Faragonda explains. If you were scared of Naruto's safety, why did you send him to Red Fountain? They could have trained him and protected him at the same time while he could be out in the open. Stella says, with Faragonda just shaking her head no. If we did, those in Red Fountain would have singled him out from the start if they were to figure out his connection with us and what he holds within him. While Althea and Red Fountain are on good relations, there are some in Red Fountain who resent fairies, or those who are related to fairies within the school gave an incident years prior before any of you enrolled here. Faragonda says, remembering that incident where an ex-student from Red Fountain had entered the school and assaulted one of the students at the time. He was expelled from the school and stripped of his heirship to his kingdom when word got out on this. Faragonda walks over to one of the walls as it had photos of her and a younger version of herself and a younger version of Griselda, and finally, a photo of a 15-year-old Naruto and the staff celebrating his birthday. I love Naruto as he is my adoptive grandson. I don't want to lose him to someone who'll just use him. That's why we kept him as a secret from everyone. Faragonda says as she turns to the girls and faces them. Girls, I beg with you. Please keep his existence and what you learned this evening to yourselves. Please. Faragonda says, no begs to the girls on keeping this to themselves. The girls turn to each other and look at one another for a little bit before nodding. Bloom turns back to Faragonda. We promise we won't speak about what we've learned to anyone. You have our word. Bloom says with the others nodding. Naruto smiles at them, he knew these girls were trustworthy. Thank you girls for this. Faragonda says. She looks at the clock in the room and saw that the time read. My goodness, is it really that late? I think we've spoken long enough. You girls should head to your rooms and rest. You all have classes tomorrow morning. Oh man, you're right. Come on guys, we should head to bed now. Good night. Night girls. See y'all later. Naruto yells while waving goodbye to them. The girls exit the room, leaving just Naruto, Faragonda and Griselda. Welp, guess I should hit the sack as well. I got stuff to do tomorrow. Night Granny and Auntie. Good night Naruto. Sleep well. Faragonda and Griselda say as Naruto goes to the bookshelf and opens it. He walks in while waving to the two teachers and exits the room with the bookshelf closing behind him. Faragonda walks back to her desk and sits back down and sighs while Griselda was just silent. Do you think we can trust them with this responsibly? Griselda asks while Faragonda just signing again. I don't know. But I will give them a chance in proving they'll keep their promise. Faragonda says, praying that the girls wouldn't disappoint her. Magic Dimension Magix. Althea Classroom, First PRD. It was now the first day of school where classes would begin. Inside one of the classrooms, the students were sitting at their desks with Bloom and Stella sitting next to each other, waiting for their transformation class to begin. Professor, shouldn't we begin? One of the girls asks the professor, who looking at a painting at the back of the class. The professor was a leprechaun who had pale yellow skin, black eyes, and long elf ears. He had light brown eyebrows and hair. He wore a big green wizard hat, a yellow long-sleeved striped shirt with a green costume on the outside with an orange flower. He also had on black shoes. He was Wizgiz, a professor here at Alfea. Wizgiz turns to the student who asked the question. Just waiting for something, girls. We'll begin shortly. Wizgiz says as he turns to the painting. Moments later, he saw the painting glow for a bit before anyone else noticed it did. He smiles. Good lad, you're here. Wizgiz thought as he turns and faces the class. Alright, as usual, it falls before to kick this freshman year off. Now, for those who have not met me yet, my name is Wizgiz. Your teacher on metamorphosis, or as I prefer calling it. Wizgiz says as he grabs hold of his right cheek and pulls it out. The art of changing. Wizig says as he lets go of his cheek and his face starts to shake and change. The way you look. Wizgiz yells as he took the form of Grisleda, which surprises the students as he looks exactly like her. They cheer at how impressive it was. Oh, but nothing to what you can do by the end of the school year. Wizgiz says as he demorphs back to himself. He jumps from his desk to one of the students' desk in the middle. And since every ending must have a beginning, we'll start with a simple exercise. Wizgiz says as he snaps his fingers and mirrors materialized in front of the students. Concentrate and look at yourself in the mirror. And think of changing your hair color. Wizgiz says as one by one, the students' hair started to change into different colors. Stella did her effortlessly while Bloom was struggling to do so. After a while of not doing it, Bloom gave up and placed her mirror back down to the desk. Wizgiz was standing on Stella's stand and saw Bloom giving up. Don't be down, Bloom. Even if you couldn't do it the first time doesn't mean you can't do it. Just keep trying and you'll get the hang of it in no time. Wizgiz says with Bloom smiling, feeling a bit better. Unaware to the students besides Wizgiz, someone was watching the lesson in secret as he too was learning about metamorphosis. Time skip, 5 hours later. A flea, the girls' dorm. We see the girls were at their dorm in Stella's room, discussing the upcoming Alfea year start goal that was announced earlier at lunch. Stella was at her drawer, looking for something while Tekna and Flora were sitting on her bedside, Musa was standing leaning against the wall and Bloom was sitting, cross-legged on a rug on the floor. For any dance, you've always got to show your best, and luckily for me, I have just the outfit to show that. Stella says as she pulls a formal dress from her drawer. The dress was a dark orange, halter neck style, top with a jewel in the center. The dress also consisted of a dark orange skirt and a pale orange underskirt underneath. Her headband is orange, but sometimes it can change to both blue and purple colors depending on the scene. She also wears light blue bracelets on her arms and a light blue scarf on her neck. Her shoes are not visible. Flora, Tekna, and Musa had changed out for their usual outfits and into their own dresses while Bloom was the only one who wasn't dressed up. For Flora, her formal dance outfit was a pink, floor-length dress with deep green decorations and a darker pink bodice. In her hair, she wore vines of the same color and a pink rose. Her hair is in pigtail buns. Her shoes aren't visible. Musa's dress, it was a kimono-style ensemble composed of a pair of flared pants in fuchsia color with red swirls at the end. The pants were long enough to hide her shoes from sight. Her shirt was inverted of these colors, with it being a red, shoulderless flowy top with large dangle cuffs and fuchsia swirls at the cuffs and hem. The top was belted at the waist with a dark blue obi in gold strings. Her headdress was a red collar connected to the shirt with a fuchsia color on the inside, and pair of red headphones with gold patterns and blue ribbons hanging off. And for Tekna's, it was a gown that consisted of a pale purple dress with light green details and outline. There was a triangular collar on the top of her dress. Tekna wore a crown and a headdress at the back. She had mysterious decorations on her back that looked like wings. She also wore light purple and blue boots. Well, what do you think? Stella asks, showcasing the dress to her friends. Wow, it's appealing. Bloom says, she was awestruck at how gorgeous the dress was. How much did it cost? Flora asks. Well, I maxed out the credit card Daddy gave me, but I had to. It was calling to me from the storefront window. It said, buy me. Buy me please. Stella says. And of course you bought it. How very noble of you. Musa says, snickering as she found it funny that Stella would go and buy a dress that expensive. Considering she is a shopping diva. Well, I do want to make an impression on people. Stella says while pouting. I hear those guys from Red Fountain are really cute. Flora says as Tekna snorts. Guys? Ha, as if I'd care about that. Tekna says, Musa looks at her and sees how she was dressed. Then you are dressed like an absolute diva? Musa asks. That's beside the point, when you attend a ceremony, you have to dress to the point. Tekna says with Stella nodding. My thoughts exactly. Stella says. Before anyone could say anything, someone else spoke. Well, this was something I wasn't expecting. The girls jump at the sound for a new person speaking. They turned to the source and found Naruto standing at the door. He was wearing a black t-shirt with a black and orange hoodie vest, black shorts, and sandals. He also was sweating a bit. And of course, he had a black headband tied around his forehead. Naruto was chuckling a little while rubbing the back of his head. Hi, guys. Sorry for the jump scare. So, how are you guys? Naruto asks as he enters the room. We're fine. Stella was just showing us her dress. Bloom says. And why are you sweating? Musa asks, seeing the sweat dripping off his arms and legs. Oh, I just got back from training in the woods and was on my way back when I thought I should come and check up on you girls. Naruto says. And how did you know where our dorms are? Tenka asks. The girls turn to Naruto and watch him as he doesn't speak for a moment. I have my ways, dear. Naruto says. He then finally notices the girls and what they were wearing. So, what's got you all dressed up? Naruto asks. Oh, this is for Gaul that's being held here tonight and the Red Fountain boys are coming here as well to party. Stella says. Naruto frowns on hearing the news. Oh yeah. The dance, yeah, I'm not going to it. Naruto says, stunning the girls. What? Why? Stella says as Naruto just holds out 3 fingers in the air. 3 reasons. 1. I've never ever had a reason to go to it, because for one, I've been here for 3 years and I've never gone to it, not even in secret. Plus, I'd stand out from the other dudes that are going to be there anyway. Second reason, I'm supposed to be hidden from the world, remember, and showing my face all over the place isn't really keeping me a secret. Naruto says as the girls now remember and understood why Naruto has never been to one. Oh yeah. That. But maybe we can ask Miss Faragonda to allow you to join us. We can keep the others away from you so you wouldn't have to interact with anyone there. Stella says, but Naruto was still not convinced. I don't know. Still think I should be hidden. Naruto says. Oh, I'm sure you'll be fine. Just have something to cover your face, like wear makeup or a mask. Stella says. Naruto took a moment and thought on her advice, and it did make sense. I'll think about it. Naruto says. Bloom then realizes that Naruto never stated his third reason on why he never went to the Gaul. And what was your third reason for not going? Bloom asks with Naruto looking at her. I don't even have an outfit for the dance anyway. Naruto answers with Stella looking at him with a shocked expression. You don't have an outfit? Stella asks as Naruto nods no. Nope. Naruto says as Bloom stands up from the floor. And I pretty much don't have a dress. Bloom says. Oh, Bloom. Flora says, feeling a bit bad about Bloom's lack of clothing. Okay girls. A new mission, we need to get our Bloom and Naruto something for tonight. And I know just where we can find the right outfits for them. Stella says. And where would that be? Musa asks, smirking as she knew where this was going. The city, of course. Stella says. But, I never agreed I'd go. Naruto says. We'll have to get it, just in case you change your mind. Now, to the shops. Stella yells, pointing to the city through her window as Naruto just shrugs his shoulders. Time skip, 5 hours later. Location, Magic City. After changing back to their regular outfits, we find the girls and Naruto back in Magix after taking the bus and going around the many clothes stores the city had to offer. They tried one place where Bloom fitted on an asymmetrical pink dress which Flora loved, but the others felt it wasn't right for her. They moved on to the next store where Stella spots a dress from the store window. She drags Bloom inside and the two have Bloom fit a yellow dress with high matching yellow gloves, but again, this didn't appeal to the others. The group tries one last store where Bloom fits on a dress that caught her eyes. Naruto in the background however was looking at the suits that were displayed and on sale. The store clerk came to him and picked a suit that was next to him. He looks at the suit and thought it was cool. Bloom walks out of the dressing room in a cerulean dress with a cutout on the midriff and navy blue cuffs. How's this one? Bloom asks as the girls gave their approval. Amazing, nice / that's the one / that looks great on you Bloom. The girls compliment the dress. Bloom looks around and sees Naruto was looking at the suit. Naruto? What do you think? Bloom asks. Naruto snaps out of his thoughts and turns to her and sees her in the dress. Wow, you look amazing. It really suits you Bloom. Naruto says this makes Bloom look away while having a small blush. Thank you Naruto. Bloom says, she notices the price tag was hanging off from her shoulder. She grabs it and sees the price of the dress and it was way over her weekly allowance. Oh man, this one's too expensive. I can't afford it. Bloom says, she felt sad she couldn't buy the dress. I could buy it for you. Stella says as she pulls out her handbag and takes out her credit card. Before she could go to the front desk, Flora grabs her shoulder and stops her. Stella no. You could make her feel bad. Flora says while shaking her head. Bloom sighs as she closes the curtain to the dressing room and changes out of the dress. The group walks out of the store feeling disappointed on how they couldn't find anything for Bloom or Naruto to wear. Well, that was a bust. Naruto says having his hands in his pockets. So, now what? Bloom asks, feeling a bit depressed on not finding the right dress. Well. Flora was trying to say but stopped herself when she thought she could upset Bloom. Stella looked at the clock tower near them and saw that it was just an hour before the party would start. It's getting kind of late. Stella says as the others see the time. We need to get back to Alfea if we want to make it to the Gaul. Tekna says. But what about Bloom and Naruto's situation? Musa asks. It's fine you guys. You should head back, I'll stay behind and see if I can find anything. Bloom says. And what about you Naruto? Stella asks. I'll look around a bit more if I can find something. We'll catch you guys back at Alfea. Naruto says. The girls nod and say their farewells and good luck as they went to a bus stop to catch a bus back to Alfea. Naruto and Bloom stood still for a bit until Naruto turns to the redhead. You sure you'll be okay finding something to wear? Naruto asks as Bloom turns to him and nod. Yeah. I'll be fine. I just need to find something cheap and I can modify it to make it look better. What about you? Bloom asks. I'll look for something that's decent. Look, we're running out of time. I'll see you back at school. Good luck Bloom. Naruto yells before running off to the distance. He was running to Warlock Motor Repair / Blacksmith to ask a favor to Hank on something. You too, Naruto. Bloom says as she runs in the opposite direction to a store that had its products on sale. Location, Alfea Naruto's cave. Time skip 1.5 hours later. Naruto was in his room, having taken a shower, and was in his casual wear. He was thinking a little while ago on if he should actually go to the Gall and have fun, but a part of him was saying no and staying hidden. It was really bugging him to an extent, so much so, that to take his mind off it, he decided to do a little rune practice by drawing on with magic ink. When he was starting to live in Alfea and learning how to read ancient magic inscriptions, Naruto took seals and runes as a great interest aside from swordsman training. So much so, that Faragonda granted him permission to go to the school's magic archive and the school's codex and learned how to write runes and seals in seconds and decipher most within moments of reading it. Right now, he was at a drawing table and was practicing a rune of his own creation. He was trying to make a rune that can absorb magic energy from the atmosphere and seal it in an item of choice and use the stored magic anytime at will. But everything he tried to make a rune seal, the seal would fail in some form every time. One time, it blew up and sent him flying back, while another failure resulted in the rune collapsing on itself. He was busy and carefully painting the rune on a blink rock when he felt someone was in the tunnels. He concentrates on his senses to try and figure out who were in the tunnels. He feels 3 magic signatures and quickly figures out that they weren't fairy signatures. But in fact, they are witches. Those are witches I'm feeling. What are they doing in the tunnels? I know for a fact that witches aren't allowed at a flea and weren't invited to the Galls, so what could they be here for? Naruto asks himself as he thinks about what could draw the witches to be here at a flea when there's a dance being held here with the Red Fountain guys here as well. His eyes are wide as he figures out why they're here. Oh no, I got to stop them, Naruto says as he drops his paintbrush and gets up and runs out of his room and into the tunnels. Since he could feel the witches, he knew where they were going, so he had to cut them off, but the only other path that led around the path the witches were taking was to the girls' dorm. Deciding to bite the bullet, Naruto rushes to the dorm. He arrives to the dorm and opens the door to it and saw that no one was there, although, he could smell something had burnt in the air. He gets out of the dorm and runs down the hallway to the storage room where he knew the witches would walk out from. As he turns the corner, he bumps in someone. He looks down and sees that it was Bloom. Bloom, what are you doing here? I thought you'd be at the dance, Naruto says. Naruto, it's the witches from before. They're here, Bloom says with Naruto now more concerned than ever. Just before he could say a thing, they hear the door to the storage room / main entrance to the tunnel had opened up and could hear footsteps coming their way. CRP. Quick, hide, Naruto says as he pulls Bloom with him and the two hide behind a flower pot. The two see the witch walk past and to a room next to the dance hall. Hey, check it out, Darcy says as the trio look at a green CHST with a triangular shape on it. That's the Red Fountain's coat of arms. The gifts must be in there, Icy says. I wonder what those idiots will give to those fairies as gifts. Stormy asks as Naruto and Bloom lean against the wall and listen to them. Whatever they are, we'll just use them to wreak havoc and mayhem onto the school. That'll give us enough time to get the ring. Darcy, if you could. Icy asks as Darcy smirks and steps forward. With pleasure. Illusion. Show us where the ring of Solaria. Darcy says as images of Stella placing her ring in a clam-sharp ring box in a CHST with other jewelry played before the witches. Great, now we know where to find it, Darcy says. Good. Now, Stormy, your turn, Icy says as Stormy grins. Finally, Stormy says as she shot a blast to the CHST's lock and blasts the CHST open to reveal glowing golden eggs. Darcy picks one up from the bunch. Oh, enchanted little eggs, Darcy says as the eggs glow and transforms into butterflies. How tacky. But no matter, we'll just change in our own little surprise. We change these eggs into snake rat eggs, Icy says as she holds one of his fingers on as it starts to charge up with magic. That will hatch at the touch of a fairy. Dakari says, with her finger out, also charging up with magic. And wreak terror to all there. Stormy say, her finger charging with magic as well. The three point their fingers to the chst as a bright light goes off, causing Naruto and Bloom to close their eyes. Once the flash had faded, the eggs had changed in form. Let's go, sisters. Icy says as the witches run away from the chst. Once the witches had vanished, Naruto and Bloom walk out of their hiding spot and walk over to the chst. So, they're after Stella's ring. Naruto says, picking up an egg and looks at it. We have to warn the others. Bloom says as Naruto nods. Good idea. Naruto says. They run to the hall and see that the specialists and the Althea fairies were already in there. I'll wait here. You go in and get the others. Naruto says with Bloom nodding. Alright. Bloom says, she sneaks into the room. Naruto waits for a little while until he saw Bloom got the girls out of the hall. Okay, what's going on, you guys? What's got you all fidgety? Flora asks. We've got a problem. A big 1-inch Naruto. Yeah, the witches from yesterday are here, Bloom says, causing the girls to look shocked. What are you two talking about? Stella asks. Icy, Darcy, and Stormy cast a spell onto the gift's red fountain brought over here to give to the fairies. They changed the eggs into snake rat eggs. Naruto says, making Tekna's eyes widen. Why would they do that? Tekna asks. Yeah, what's in it for them? Stella asks. They're after your ring, Stella. They're going to use the snake rat's eggs as a distraction and use it to steal your ring. Bloom says as Musa thought on this and had to admit that was a good plan. Then we've got to stop these eggs from being handed out. Musa says, Flora sees something had entered the hall and her eyes widen. Too late. Look. Flora yells, she points to the hall and the other follow where she was pointing at. They could see that two of the specialists was carrying the chst into the hall. We need to stop them before these eggs hatch and everyone gets a cuddly poisonous snake rat as a gift. Musa says. Good idea. What we need is a counterspell. Quick girls, let's hold hands and form a circle. Stella says as the girls form a circle. Okay, now repeat after me. What it once was, let it be again. Stella says. What it once was, let it be again. What it once was, let it be again. What it once was, let it be again. The girls chant as magic flowed from them and hits the chst, causing the eggs to change back to their original form and just. In time too. The girls and Naruto watch as Sky took an egg from it and hands it to one of the Althea students. Once the fairy held the egg, she opens it and a flock of butterflies flies out of the egg. Naruto and the girls sigh in relief as the spell worked as the girls took a few deep breaths. Turns out, doing a spell very quickly drains a lot out of you. As Naruto watched the eggs being opened, he gains a rather mischievous idea. Hey, I think I have an idea on how we could get some payback on these witches. Flora, do you know any replacement and acceleration spells? Naruto asks with the girl in question raises her eyebrow. Yes. I do. Why? Flora asks. Naruto just walks over to her and leans closer to her ear. Can you? Naruto then whispers into her ear. Flora listens and her expression changes from confused, to curious to surprised to her smirking. Oh, wow. That is evil, yes I can do that. Got an egg? Flora asks as she smirks. Naruto shakes his head and just points to the hall. He's bringing it here. I'll hide, you know what to do. Naruto says as he jumps high and lands on the ledge by the door. Sky walks out, holding one of the eggs in his hands. Hey, I saved one. I hope this egg brings you luck. Sky says as he hands the egg to Stella. I guess I'll find out soon enough if it does or not. Sorry Stella, but I have something for our little witch friends and your egg is the answer. A little adjustment here and, it's ready. Flora says as she throws the egg in the air. The girls and Sky look up to see if the egg would come back down, but it didn't. The girls looked over to where Naruto was and saw that he was gone. Hey, where'd the egg gone? Sky asks as he looks around for the egg but couldn't find it anywhere. Who knows? Maybe you should get another for Stella. Flora says as she pushes Sky back into the hall. Hey, where's Naruto and what did you do to that egg? Bloom asks. We'll explain later. Naruto has it and he's setting the trap now. Right now, you should go and change. You're missing the dance. Flora says, making Bloom's eyes open snaps as she forgot all about her dress. Oh, right. I'll be back. Bloom says as she runs back to the dorm. With Naruto. Naruto was walking through the halls, whistling as he felt rather satisfied with himself on what he just did. Man, those witches sure are going to be pissed off when they see that egg. But karma is a beach and I'm her owner, since if you mess with my home, I'll pay you back tenfold. Naruto thought as he continues to walk, he notices someone was running across the courtyard, chasing after a green box. Bloom. Why is she chasing after Stella's jewelry box when Naruto says as he remembers he only told Flora of the plan. Oh, we forgot to tell her and the others on the plan, CRP. I got to go after her. Naruto says as he runs to the stairs down to the lower floor. He runs outside and follows Bloom to where the box was taking her. He sees that the box was on the ground but found that the calm ring box the ring was in is not in it. He then feels a spike in magical energy coming from where the hall is. He senses the witches and... Oh no, Bloom. Naruto yells as he rushes to the location of the spike. He arrives and sees the witches were attacking Bloom with the redhead hanging on to dear life on a chasm that was made from Darcy's sound attack. Icy was about to shoot an ice attack to Bloom when Naruto sudden appears. Get away from her. Naruto yells as he stands in front of the ice attack and gets sent back flying and lands on the other side of the chasm and freezes in an ice trap. Bloom saw he take the hit for her. No. Naruto. Bloom shouts, her body then starts to glow bright red as she looks up and sees the wives were laughing at Naruto's sacrifice and that made her angry. You'll pay for that. Bloom yells as she shoots out of the chasm and starts to transform into her fairy form. Bloom's fairy form was her in a sparkly bright sky blue, cropped halter turtleneck CRP top decorated with an oval-shaped gold jewel at the center of her CHST, a matching sparkly light blue miniskirt with matching color shorts under her skirt and light blue high-heeled ankle boots. She also wore light blue glove-like, detached sleeves around her forearms from elbow to wrist with a point down the back of each palm and had a small golden tiara with 3 rounded points at the top of her head. Her hairstyle remained the same as from her civilian form. Her wings were translucent and have the colors of cyan heart-topped split inner layers with teal tips. A shockwave of magical energy goes through the area, causing the wind to blow, making the witches close their eyes. The shockwave hits the ice trap of Naruto and frees him from it. He shakes his head and looks at the middle and sees Bloom had transformed into her fairy form with lighting surging around her. Bloom, you're in your fairy form. Naruto yells as he smiles. Bloom looks down and sees that she was in her fairy form. Yeah. You're right. I'm in my fairy form. And, we're evenly matched. Bloom says as she glares at the witches. Icy just places her hands on her hip and laughs. Haha, that's an awfully cute little fairy outfit. Too bad you'll need more than to win against us. Icy says as the 3 sisters laugh. Naruto gets up and walks over to them. Then it's a good thing she's got me as her backup, Naruto says as he stands next to Bloom with his katana in his hands. The witches just scowl at this and Icy turns to Darcy. Darcy. Icy says as Darcy looks at our heroes and her eyes glow. Vertigo. Darcy yells as the world around Naruto and Bloom starts to spin. Okay, this is making me sick. Naruto says, getting dizzy and sick from this. It's a spell. Bloom says, feeling equally dizzy and sick. Bloom, fly up. The spell can't affect you if you're high up enough. And what about you? Bloom asks as she starts to fly you. I'll do this. Wind slash. Naruto shouts, he slashes his blade in the air and an arc of blue wind and had it soaring straight to the witches. The witches see the attack coming and it hits them, sending them flying back a bit and rolling on the ground. They sit up and see Darcy's spell had been cancelled and saw Naruto and Bloom were approaching them while glaring at them. Icy, we have the ring. We don't have to fight him, for now. Let's just leave while we still can. Darcy says, pointing out a good reason with Stormy agreeing. Icy glares at the blonde boy before a smirk appears on her face. You're done. We have what we came here for. We're done here. Icy says as she snaps her fingers and the sisters disappear in a flash. CRP, they got away. Naruto says as he dismisses his kanata. Bloom lands back to the ground next to him and changes back to her normal form. Oh no, they got away with Stella's ring. Bloom says. Naruto looks at her and goes into his right pocket. Oh, you mean this ring? Naruto says as he pulls out the ring of Solaria. Bloom was in utter surprise. Well, how did you? Bloom utter, not being able to say a word. I went back to your dorm and switched the ring out with the egg before they could ever turn their attention to the box. Here. Naruto says, tossing the ring to Bloom. The redhead catches it and sees that it was fine. Man, Stella is going to be happy that her ring is still safe. Wait, now that I think about it. What did you have Flora do to that egg? Bloom asks as Naruto just laughs. Oh, just a little surprise for our witches. Naruto says as he wanted to be there and see the witches' faces when they see their plan had failed. Bloom. Naruto. The two turn and see the other girls were running towards them. Hey, guys. Bloom says as they approach. Are you guys okay? We saw the fight from the hall. Flora says. And we saw Naruto take a hit from Icy to protect you, Bloom. Are you okay, Naruto? Musa asks. Yeah, we're good. And thanks for asking. Aside from being a bit chilly, I'm fine. I heal fast. Naruto says with a thumbs up. Where were you guys? Bloom asks. We couldn't get away from the headmistress, Stella says. Yeah, they tried to steal Stella's ring. Luckily, I had it in my pockets before they even could. And Flora, mission accomplished. Naruto says with Flora smiling at the news. That's great to hear. Flora says. Musa raises an eyebrow at how the two were acting. What did you two do? Musa asks. Naruto and Flora look at each other and laugh. We'll explain later. Flora just says. Come on, tell us what you planned. Bloom says while pouting. Naruto sees this and laughs even more, but he did have a blush on his face. Time skip a few minutes later. With Naruto. Naruto was back in his cave and was currently inside his room. He was pacing around the room in deep thought. He stops and looks over to his bed and sees his suit and formal shoes were laid out there. He felt nervous about this since this was the first time he was going to wear something this fancy and go to a dance, but he couldn't show his face. He sighs and flops on his bed beside his outfit. He thought more this if he should go. But how could he if he had to hide? Wait. Naruto thought as he remembers what Stella said to him earlier. That's it. Hide in plain sight. Naruto thought. He got up and lifted his right arm to have his wrist as his mark starts to glow. Hey, Granny. Can you please come down here? I need to ask you if I can do something at the ball tonight, but I need your help before I even go there. Plus, are there any instruments there? Naruto asks, setting his plan into motion. He then goes over to his closet and pulls out a few other things to wear instead. With the girls. In the hall, the students and specialists were having a great time until they spotted Bloom entering the hall. She was now wearing a light two-piece outfit, a CRP top, having detached sleeves with long strings flowing from them, and a pencil skirt. She also had blue ribbons tied to her forearms. She felt nervous entering the hall as everyone was marveling at her and her dress, but she kept going strong as she spots her friends who were also marveled by her appearance. How do I look? Bloom asks as she reaches her friends. Only to have her arms clasped by Flora. Appealing as a spring flower. Flora responds with a smile. So, what did I miss? Asks the eager Earth Fairy. Stella was about to say when she was interrupted by the lights going off. The fairies got startled at this while the specialists got themselves ready in case someone was about to attack them. One of the Althea staff looks at Faragonda and saw that she wasn't reacting to this. Ma'am, should we be ready for an attack? The staff asks as Faragonda turns to them and calmly smiles. Oh, do not worry, it is nothing to worry about. This just something that was planned at the last minute. Faragonda says as the staff member was confused. What was ma'am? The staff member asks with Faragonda just saying. A performance. Faragonda says as a guitar riff was heard being played. Soon, the lights turned back on and everyone saw a young man with jet black spiky hair near the window with a red and black electric guitar, connected to a big amp, in hand. He was wearing a black biker LTHR jacket with a white shirt and a red tie on, black pants and red Converse high-top sneakers on. He was also wearing a black mask that was covering most of his face from being visible. He was playing the guitar as he walks over to a mic that was on a stand and started to sing. Pulled aside as if I was the wrong one. You said it all and you made me the lost one. This is where you need to be. You know, it's taken its toll on me. So I'll hope for a miracle. Yeah, I'll hope for a miracle. The student and specialists were starting to loosen up and were starting to either dance or headbang to the song. The young man jumps down from the amp and starts to walk towards the audience as he changes the mood of the song. Holidays tend to make me feel whole again. Rainy days make me feel like the dream is dead. I'm preparing myself for a train wreck. I can't be saved. The young man continues to play and sing as the students were all now dancing to the song while the staff were now aware just what was going on as they smile, especially Faragonda. So tell me, why can't you see? This is where you need to be. They're leaving me breathless. Find a way to stay in your skin. The young man slows down playing the guitar from fast to slow and went to a more acoustic tone as he sang in a smoother tone. So why can't you see? This is where you need to be. You know, it's taken its toll on me. But I don't feel invisible. The young man then went back to the original tempo as the students were back to dancing or jumping to the song as the young man was too jumping. This is where you need to be. You know, it's taken its toll on me. So I'll hope for a miracle. Yeah, I'll hope for a miracle. The young man stops playing and lets the last note echoed throughout the hall. It was silent in the hall for a little bit until everyone started to cheer for him. He places the guitar next to the amp and walks through the crowd. As he walks he could hear what the girls were saying about him. Who is that? He doesn't look like he's from Red Fountain. He looks cute. A bad boy, Mama likes. Is he single? I wonder what he looks like under that mask he's wearing. He's mine. The young man looked embarrassed at what the girls were saying about him. He soon spots the girls and heads to them. The girls were talking to each other and looking around for Naruto when they saw the young man approach them. "Hello, ladies. My oh my, you all look absolutely gorgeous this fine evening." The young man says. Sorry, but do we know you?" Musa asks. The young man just places his hand to his chest, where his heart was. "Ouch, I'm hurt, Musa. But that's fair since you couldn't recognize me like this if you could." The young man says as he grabs his mask and lowers it to reveal whisker birthmarks on his cheeks to them as he flashes a foxy grin and winks at them as their eyes widen. Only one person they knew had whisker marks on his cheeks. "Hi girls." The young man, who was Naruto, says, chuckling at the girls' faces. "Naruto." The girls quietly yell, seeing the mysterious blonde was in front. "Yep, it's me," Naruto says as he slips the mask back on. "How is your hair a different color?" Stella asks, pointing to the blonde's now jet black hair. "Oh, I'm just taking your advice on using a mask to hide my face, and I'm using a simple spell to disguise my hair thanks to Granny so I could come here and hide in plain sight." "Pretty cool, huh?" Naruto asks as the girls nod. "Yeah, it is," Stella says. "I don't know you could sing and play," Musa says as Naruto chuckles and rubs the back of his head. "Oh, I can sing pretty well. And I can play, well, drums, guitar, and piano. Granny thought it's a good idea to have learned how to play instruments since I'm pretty hyper," Naruto says. "So, how does it feel being at your first dance?" Tekna asks. "Naked," Naruto just says as the girls look at him with a weird look. "Why?" Flora asks. "My forehead. It feels naked without something on it," Naruto says as the girls look at him. Right before giggling at his joke. It was then that slow dance music started to play and Stella gained an idea. She hip bumps Bloom, causing the redhead to fall forward, but Naruto catches her and spins her around until the two stop like they were dancing. They were near each other's faces and blushed. Naruto helps her up and she regains her balance before he holds his hand out to her. "Care to dance with me?" Naruto asks, feeling a little nervous and thanking he had a mask on to hide the ever-present blush on his cheeks. Bloom looks at his hand and smiles as she takes it. "I'd love to," Bloom says. Naruto puts his right hand onto the middle of her back while putting his left hand with Bloom's right hand. Soon the two started to waltz around the ball, and before Naruto even knew it, he was smiling at having fun and slow dancing with a appealing girl, which in turn, causes the redhead to smile as well. Unknown to the teens, a certain long-haired blonde was watching them dance, or what others would see, but he was actually glaring at Naruto as he took a sip of his drink and continues to watch Bloom and Naruto dance. "Who is that guy?" Brandon asks while gripping his cup. Timmy adjusts his glasses as he looks at Naruto. "I don't know. I've never seen him before," Timmy says. "Oh man, he took your girl from you," Riven says while chuckling as Brandon continues to grip his cup until he crushes it. "Shut up. I just want to know who the hell is that guy," Brandon says. Riven looks at Naruto and couldn't help but think. "He does kind remain me for someone," Riven says as Sky turns to him. "Who?" Sky asks. "That blonde-haired kid that works at Warlock Motor Repair/Blacksmith," Riven says. "The one who beat you at last year's Corsa Fureleg?" Timmy asks as Riven growls. "Yeah, the same punk that beat me," Riven says as he got angry at the remainder for how he lost the race. "Maybe we'll ask him if he knows this guy when we go there next time," Brandon says as he watches Naruto spin Bloom around and Alfia Naruto's room. Morning. A week has passed since the start of the school year dance as we return once again back to below Alfia, inside Naruto's room, and what is the sun-kissed, spiky-haired, whiskered-faced blonde doing, you might ask? He was currently in his bed, sleeping. He was up all night, training in his ruin riding and then fixing his bike for an event that was coming up and he had to get Akira ready for it. He was currently having a dream, but, was he really? The reason as to why I'm saying this you may ask. He was twisting and turning in his bed with his expression showing he was in pain and that he was sweating as well. What could he be dreaming about that could make him like this? Why don't we have a look into it and see just what is he dreaming about? Naruto's dream. In some strange, rural village, at night. Naruto was currently in his young self, age 7, and was running down a dirt road. Why? Because he is currently being chased by a crowd of 24 adults chasing him. The crowd chasing him ranged from what looked like 12 villagers and the other 12 looked like the military Foha village as they were wearing the same uniform. They were wearing a bush green flak jacket, dark blue pants, and a long-sleeve shirt and had a headband around their foreheads. All of them had weapons in their hands, ranging from broken bottles, knives, pickaxes, katanas, and small black stainless steel one-handed knives. Naruto was busy running away, having some cuts on his arms, legs, and face having been beaten by the crowd before he found a chance to escape, but thanks to the injuries he got from them earlier, he wasn't going full out. He turns on a corner to an alleyway and runs into it before he comes to a stop thanks to a wall blocking his way. He looks around to see if he could behind something or for a weapon to defend himself, but to his misfortune, he runs into a dead end and there was no way to escape or hide. Naruto turns around to try and leave the alley when he sees the mob that was chasing him had entered the narrow alley and had blocked the only other exit. The mob saw Naruto was trapped and they were smirking as they slowly walked toward him. Well, well, well. The little fox demon has nowhere to run and hide, does he? Yeah, and we have him where we want him. In front of us and unarmed. One of the people wearing the military outfit says as she spins her knife by its ring on her finger. Naruto was backing up from the mob, shaking in fear. Please, I don't know what you're talking about. Naruto stutters, honestly not knowing what they are talking about. His words, however, seemed to make the mob angry as one of the military people went to him and punches Naruto in the face, forcing the boy to fly back and hit the wall behind him. Shut it, demon. Your tricks will not work with us. The military person, who punched Naruto, yells as he turns around and looks at another military person in the eyes. Say, Mizuki. You want to take a crack at this little fox brat? The first one asks as the other one smirks. Soon, a young man with white shoulder-length hair with a slight hint of blue to it and green eyes steps out of the mob and in front of Naruto. He wore the flak jacket and forehead protector that he wore like a bandana. You read my mind, Gamma. This brat had this coming for a long time. Mizuki says as he pulls out one of his black stainless steel kunai from his left leg's pouch. Naruto slowly lifts his head to reveal his nose was bleeding and that he had a bruise forming on his cheek. Please, I didn't do anything bad to you. Little Naruto stutters as Mizuki just scoffs and kicks Naruto in his chest, breaking a few of his ribs and forcing him to fly back into the wall. Shut it, demon. No one will listen to your tricks or lies. Nor, your screams. Mizuki snares as he spins the kunai in his hand before stabbing it into Naruto's shoulder, causing the boy to scream in pain. Aw! Naruto screams, but it was soon silenced as he was punched in the face again by the other military person who was. Soon though, everyone else started to join in the beating as many delivered punches and kicks onto Naruto's body. The little boy could only try to defend himself, but the mob's attacks are just too much and all he could do was cry and scream out from the pain he was experiencing, but no one would hear it. End of Naruto's dream. Aw! Naruto shoots up from his bed and holds his chest as he was trying to regain his breath and was trying to calm down. He jumps from his bed and lands on the floor as he backs away from it until he hits a wall. He started to take sharp, short breaths in an attempt to calm down his heart as he grabs his black t-shirt and clutched it for dear life. He had sweat dripping down his forehead and was shaking. Was his dream really a dream, or something else? Time skip, 4 hours later. The forest just outside Alfea. Noon. This place is totally disgusting. Stella's voice could be heard, shouting as we now see her and the rest of the girls were in the middle of a swamp, walking in knee-high sludge. What happened to, mud does wonders for your skin dear, you were saying earlier. Musa quipped, making Bloom and the other giggle as Stella pouts. Well, it does, but this is not what I had in mind. Stella yells while waving her arms around, making the girls giggle even more than before. They were all wearing roughly the same outfit, which was a pale yellow jumpsuit with 4 pockets, but each girl had worn different t-shirts under their jumpsuits. For Stella, she had on a lilac-colored short-sleeved top. For Bloom, she wore a light blue short-sleeved shirt. For Flora, she had a green t-shirt under her jumpsuit. For Musa, she wore a magenta top, and finally, for Tekna, she had on a light purple top. For their shoe wear, it was brown boots with pale yellow knee-high socks. Stella was the only one with accessories, as she wore a lilac headband, a short green scarf, and a brown hat too. Now you might be asking yourselves, why are the girls in explorer outfits and are currently walking through a swamp in the forest just outside Alfea? Well, today's class with Professor Palladium, their nature professor, tasked the girls and their class with getting out of black mud swamp and reach the clear and gloomy wood forest within the time span of just 3 hours, and without the use of their magic it would be an automatic fail. The only way they could learn from this and escape the swamp in time would be to listen to Mother Nature's voice and listen her advice on leaving the forest safely. I'm not sure if you guys realize this, but we're knee-deep in what I'd like to call a problematic mud puddle. But it shouldn't be a big problem if I use a simple hardening spell. Tekna says. She lifts her hands in the air and her magic energy was coursing off them, showing that she was about to use magic. And this causes Bloom to react. Tekna, wait. We can't use magic to help us. As the professor said, we have to listen to Mother Nature's voice to help us out of this. Bloom's right. We just have to close our eyes and just listen to what nature has. Flora says as she and the other girls close their eyes and start to listen to the nature that was around them. But instead of hearing nature, their other senses picked up something else. Hey, you guys smell that? Bloom asks, smelling something in the air. Yeah, smells like old Jim's socks. I thought he said listen, not smell, Stella says. Musa continues to sniff the air and notices that bubbles were forming in the mud they were standing in. Wait, that smells like gas. We've got to get out of this mud and fast. Musa yells, making the others aware of what the smell was, and they run out of the sludge and hide behind a fallen tree. Bloom looks on the ground and spots a stick near her. Okay, let's see what will happen if I do this. Bloom says as she tosses the stick to the sludge, hitting and popping one of the bubbles. As soon as it popped, bluish gas shot out of the sludge and shot into the air before fading away. A single spark and we would be roasted turkeys now. Bloom says to Tekna, who looked guilty since she was this close to hurting her friends. Sorry guys, guess I almost got us hurt. I had gone ahead with the spell. Tekna apologizes. It's okay Tekna, we took a big risk and didn't listen to Mother Nature when we should have, Flora says. Yeah, you're lucky Tekna. Otherwise, I would have sent you the bill for my outfit. Stella says, causing the other to laugh. Of course, she would be more worried about her outfit. In the skies of Magix. Roughly the same time. Soaring through the clear open skies of Magix, was a red fountain aircraft. Its occupants, the specialists, were on an SCRT mission. They were tasked with escorting a prisoner they captured and turning him over to the police for him to go and be brought to a prison. Sky, who was seating near the controls, looking over the navigation system, hearing Timmy returning from the back after he was sent to check on their guest. So, how's the big guy doing? Sky asks. Oh, he's fine. Looks better now that that massive cut he had on his chest has healed up. Timmy says, remaining Sky of the big injury he had the night they found him on Earth. That's good to hear. But I've been wondering. How did he get that gush? We found him like that when Stella called us to Earth, and we know that they couldn't have done that to him since it was caused by a weapon and Stella's scepter couldn't have done that. So, what and who did it? Sky asks, thinking about how deep it was. I'm not too sure, but whoever did it, knows how to fight if they could make the troll go down and injure him like that. Trolls are known to be tough, so to do that takes skills. Skills that I don't think we have yet. Timmy says. He looks over to his left and sees his long blonde-haired teammate looking outside, looking like he was deeply thinking about something. What wrong, Prince Sky? Timmy asks. Sky had revealed who he really was to Timmy and Riven the night after the dance, with Brandon being the only one excluded since he knew who he really was from the beginning, considering that he was his squire. Riven just snores as he knows what was wrong with the prince. He's probably thinking about that kid who performed at the dance who stole that redhead chick from him before he got a chance to speak to her. Riven says. Hey, I'm not thinking about that. And her name is Bloom. Sky yells, glaring at Riven, who just smirks at him. Sky shakes off the anger as he turns to Timmy. Timmy, please tell me you talked to that blonde kid at the parts store to see if he knows that black-haired kid? Sky asks, but Timmy sighs and shakes his head no. Sorry Sky, every time I and Riven went there, Hank tells us it's not his day to work. In fact, yesterday we missed him by a few minutes. Timmy says as Sky sighs. Great. Sky sighs. He looks back out the window and sees the forest with Brandon going to him. Oh come on Sky, I don't think that kid from that night was looking for trouble. Plus, it looked like they knew each other pretty well. Brandon says as he pats Sky on his shoulder, but the blonde prince didn't say a thing. As they continued their journey, Sky suddenly got a strange feeling about something. Say, do any of you guys get the strange feeling something is about to happen? Sky asks, making the others turn to him. Something good or bad? Brandon asks. I really don't know. Maybe something bad. Sky says. That's impossible. As you guys can see, I have full control of this aircraft, so we have nothing to worry about. Riven confidently says. As soon as he finished saying that, the aircraft suddenly started to rock around, as if it was hit by something. Think you spoke too soon, Riven. Timmy yells, trying to stay standing from the rocking. That felt like it came from outside. Brandon says, but Riven disagreed. That's impossible, the sensors aren't picking up a thing. Riven says, looking over the console and seeing that nothing was being detected. Soon, the aircraft started rocking again, but this time, the aircraft's engine was cut off and the specialists soon found themselves crashing down to the earth. In another part of the forest, near a flea. Roughly 1 minute ago. Man, what was that dream? Naruto was seen in a blue t-shirt with a red fire symbol on the front of it, brown khaki shorts with a pair of gloves hanging off one of his pockets, and black RBB garden boots, and had a black baseball cap, walking in the same forest, carrying some flower pots which had exotic-looking flowers and plants growing in them. He was walking to a clearing with them so he could plant them there. The reason? Well, over the years, Naruto had experimented with different things like music, welding/blacksmithing/building, training his body in swordsmanship skills, and practicing creating seals/ruins, but the one thing he felt more at home than the others, was gardening. At first, it was to help him pass the time as he was bored in his room whenever the professors had classes to teach. But after a while, Naruto grew to love the hobby, more than building and training. So, whenever he went to the city, he'd go to the flower stores across the city and purchase different seedlings and grow them, right before going to his clearing and planting them there. But right now, he was thinking over the dream he had just earlier, and thinking over why was he had it. Why did I have that dream? In fact, why have I been having these types of dreams at all? Those dreams feel real, like I can feel the pain and emotions from them. Were they really just dreams, or were they my past? Naruto asks himself. He really did think about his past at times, like who he really is, where he came from, and what was life back there before he appeared to Magix. He arrives at the clearing and takes a deep breath of air from the clearing. He really loved this place. Just before he could get to work, he hears something falling from the sky. He looks up and sees a red fountain hawk. Naruto says as he sees the aircraft was hailing down with smoke coming from it. Soon after, he had a big crash, followed by a splash. Sounds like it just crash landed. I might need to go and check if the guys in that aircraft are alright. Naruto says as he drops his things at the clearing and starts to run to the crash site using the trees to jump to it. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 3. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author Pixel's fanbook on FANFICTIONnet. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.